In the United States, habeas corpus is more than a legal term. It's a firewall between democracy and tyranny. It's the right to challenge unlawful imprisonment. It's the mechanism that says, the government must justify your detention to a judge, and now it's under threat. A dangerous suggestion, not an idle thought. In a chilling echo of authoritarian history, Stephen Miller, a senior advisor to Donald Trump and a lead architect of immigration crackdowns, recently floated the idea of suspending habeas corpus in this administration. This wasn't off the cuff. It fits directly within the strategic and legal framework of Project 2025, a policy and personnel blueprint built by the Heritage Foundation and over 80 right-wing organizations. The goal? To reshape the federal government into a tool of ideological enforcement, quickly and permanently. Suspending habeas corpus would accelerate that mission. What is habeas corpus? The phrase means you shall have the body. The guarantee that a person can't be detained by the government without cause. It's baked into the Constitution. It dates to English common law, and it's one of the oldest civil protections in the Western legal tradition. Even during times of war or crisis, habeas corpus is rarely suspended. Lincoln did it during the Civil War, under intense criticism. FDR skirted it in the internment of Japanese Americans, an act later condemned by history and the courts. But to consider it in peacetime, as a tool of domestic governance, is to cross a line into authoritarianism. While Project 2025 doesn't openly declare the suspension of habeas corpus, it lays the legal and institutional groundwork that could make such a move possible. Reclassification of civil servants to remove internal opposition, aggressive executive orders drafted to be signed on day one, redefinition of the role of the DOJ, FBI, and DHS to serve presidential will, and plans for mass detentions of undocumented individuals, possibly in newly built or repurposed facilities, or imprisonment overseas. Stephen Miller's proposal should be read not as a warning, but as a trial balloon, floated to test public reaction while legal infrastructure is quietly constructed behind the scenes. What suspension could look like? In practice, suspending habeas corpus under Project 2025 would likely begin with immigration or protest-related crackdowns. Mass detentions at the border, with no right to challenge confinement, preemptive arrests of demonstrators labeled as threats to national order, detention of whistleblowers or civil servants accused of disloyalty. The executive would simply argue that national security is under threat, from drugs, crime, civil unrest, or foreign influence, and use that justification to nullify legal review. If the courts are packed with loyalists or silenced, there's no meaningful break on this power. A legal cover for political repression. Without habeas corpus, any administration could detain people indefinitely without charging them. That power has been misused in other nations to jail journalists and opposition leaders, intimidate minority communities, and dismantle protest movements. In the United States, such moves are currently illegal, but under Project 2025, the legal definitions of enemy, security threat, or domestic extremist could be rewritten from within. This is how authoritarianism works, not always by breaking laws, but by rewriting the rules and controlling who enforces them. Why it matters now. This is not a theoretical fear, it's part of an emerging strategy. Stephen Miller's comments signal intent. Project 2025 supplies the tools. A loyalist bureaucracy enforces the vision. When those three align, ideology, legal authority, and personnel, fundamental rights like habeas corpus become fragile, especially when fear is weaponized to justify urgency. The line between republic and regime, suspending habeas corpus isn't just a policy, it's a signal that a government no longer sees itself as accountable to its people or to the law. It means detention without charge, imprisonment without oversight, power without limits. The United States has crossed this line before during wars under duress, and we've always looked back with regret. To cross it now intentionally and premeditatedly would not be a deviation from democracy, it would be a dismantling of it. The question is no longer whether they would. The question is, how many people will notice before it's too late? Thanks for watching. Stay stronger, stay smarter, stay informed. Like and subscribe for more information and updates.